So, y'all, we back in here with another Just Ask Rob. This time it's not an email. I got this message on Instagram. And when I saw it and I read it through, I said, well, even though she didn't send me an email, I still would want to deal with this because I get these types of questions a lot. I get some of the comments that are made in this message. I get them often, and I wanted to do this and put the word out for Black women dealing with the same type of issues. All right. The message starts off, good evening. I wanted to start off by saying I love your content. You're absolutely amazing, and it warms my heart to see a Black man such as yourself speaking against the things you do. Here's my reason for writing you. I'm a Black woman in my 30s. I've worn weave for the longest. Growing up, I wasn't educated on natural hair or the importance of taking care of my own hair as a Black woman. Growing up when I wore weave, it had nothing to do with self-hate. I just liked the different looks of weave and being able to switch up my look as I please. Now that I'm much older and quote unquote more conscious about self, I've developed a love for all things natural, especially hair. Now the only problem is with all the years of miseducation, abusing my natural hair, braids and sew-ins, it has left me with alopecia. My edges are completely gone. I have bald spots to where I'm restricted to only wearing wigs. It kills me to have to walk around with wigs, but as a woman, hair is a self-esteem booster. Like some men who loses their hair or have receding hairlines wear a hat, the wig is kind of my safety net. Like a hat, you can say. What hurts me is how some Black men can be insensitive about Black women wearing weave, saying you want to be white or you have self-hate, not knowing there could be an underlying health reason why Black women are subjected to wearing weave. I've been told I have self-hate by Black men, I'm not conscious because I wear wigs, etc. And it angers me because I don't feel it's anyone's business why I wear wigs and don't feel the need to get into personal reasons with them as to why I wear wigs. It's very embarrassing, and no woman wants to admit to anyone she's bald or have hair loss. One thing I can say that I've learned from my mistakes with mistreating my crown, my hair, and have instilled self-love, and I think she meant to say here, and have instilled self-love into in my daughter to where she embraces and loves her natural, beautiful kinks. I hid my hair issue from her for a long time, but one day I built the courage to show her what it was under my wigs and the consequences if she followed my mistakes. She told me I was beautiful and she kissed me. Can you speak on this matter on one of your YouTube videos whenever time commits? I know how some Black men can be so harsh on Black women when it comes to our appearance and how they ridicule us. If I knew for certain I get love from my Black men, bald or not, I probably would embrace my own baldness and walk around with it with my head held up high. But that's only in a perfect world. Not to toot my own horn, I'm a very attractive woman, great physical appearance, I never got any surgical work to enhance my beauty, and men are constantly attracted to me with my wigs, of course. I always wondered if I'd still get the same love with all I said, minus the wigs. This felt like a venting session, LOL. Thank you so much for your time in advance, and I look forward to hearing your take on this. Please continue to spread the word and educate. You are greatly appreciated and loved by this Black woman king. First and foremost, I appreciate messages like this. I get a lot of messages like this from women about natural hair, and I appreciate the fact that even though, I've made the videos about natural hair, and women hear my opinions about natural hair, they still feel safe enough to come to me about natural hair because they know what I'm saying is not coming from a place of hate or anything like that. I'm just trying to educate and show and prove how we can do better as far as our daughters are concerned. This message, based on what she's saying here, is that she's been damaging her hair all her life. And I've argued with many women that, you were kind of brought up into a system where, a lot of moms, Black mothers, they don't know how to deal with natural hair themselves, their own natural hair. And so they kind of pass down this hair has to be straight for it to be managed logic, which leads to the relaxers, which leads to the weave. Now, on the back side of this The damage that can be done to your natural hair by suffocating and choking and killing your hair for so many years is what leads to the balding, what leads to alopecia, what leads to edges being non-existent. These things are happening. Now, the one thing that I do find very interesting about this, and I do love, is that you're showing your daughter a different way. Because it's really about breaking the cycle. A lot of women don't understand that even when I'm on here talking about natural hair and showing love to natural hair, is to break the cycle. I understand there is damage that has been done prior to, a lot of damage being done, but we have to break the cycle somewhere. So I really, really appreciate you taking the time to show yourself to your daughter and make her understand what mistakes you've made so she don't make the same mistakes. I do have some criticism here based on what you're saying about attracting black men. All right. And I do want to say, first of all, here that when it comes to black women calling themselves attracting black men by wearing weave and wigs, it's a matter of what type of man are you wanting to receive into your life? A man who finds you attractive, sexy, the way you are, whether it is you have a bald head or not. I mean, some of you know my story as to how I ended up bald right now. Genetics dealt me a bad hand. And as to your talking point about hats, I wore hats whether I had hair or not. I just always liked hats. Even now, I'll wear hats. Sometimes I won't. A lot of times I go out into this world, I don't have a hat on. I'm not worried about, well, do black women like me more like this? I don't care what black women are thinking as for them finding me attractive because I don't have hair. So I'll put a hat on in hopes to get more black women to talk to me. I don't think like that. Any black woman that would be in that mindset, I don't want to attract them anyway. That's what I wish. When I see black women say, well, they're doing it to attract black men. It's a matter of what type of black men are you trying to attract, because at some point, he may see your hair. And the only reason I say may is because there's a lot of men with women, they've never seen their hair at all, period. But there could be a time where he's seeing your hair. Even if a black man prefers weave or straight hair or whatever like that, he don't love you really. You don't want to be attracting these type of people anyway. Now, I understand the confidence that it takes for a woman to not have hair, and whether it be really bald, or I hate the fact that we call even short hair on black women, we'll call them bald-headed. Now, I'm bald-headed, and there's a difference between short hair and bald head. I do hate that we do that, but you have to look at who you're trying to attract. Even as you're teaching your daughter to love herself, which I think is amazing. Again, what type of black men would she be trying to attract if she's feeling as though, well, they like me with weave in or wigs on, so I'll just do that? Those are not the type of black men you need to be even trying to get their attention in any type of way whatsoever. And then it comes down to a matter of what type of weave and wigs are you wearing? Even with having alopecia, what type of wigs are you wearing? Because if you're still wearing the long, straight, silky, Brazilian, whatever the fuck you want to chalk it up as here, that's not the look. If you're teaching your daughter to embrace her kinks, then even your wigs should be kinky wigs. A lot of women disagree with the fact that it should be kinky wigs, and that makes me question, well, what is it really then? Because there is now weave and wigs that match more so the natural texture of black women's hair. Now, there are black men that will chalk it up as self-hate, but I know that there is self-hate going on as well as lack of confidence going on as well, which I do make those points in my videos. There's a lot of lack of confidence going on because everybody, women are trying to look good to attract men that are more than likely a bunch of self-haters them fucking selves. So, you know, again, who do you want to attract? Who are you trying to get? Who are you trying to get with? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. And even if you're going to walk around, when I see women with short hair, even I've seen beautiful women with bald heads, nothing about their hair in that when it was short or even bald, nothing makes me say, well, they ugly or they're not attractive. Or I don't even think that way because I'm not a fucking self-hater. And if I think that about a black woman, then I have to think that about myself as well. Be careful as to the type of people that you are trying to attract. No matter what you putting on, no matter what it is, who you trying to attract? Coon ass, self-hating ass black men, they're not gonna do you no good no way. Waste a lot of your time. Waste a whole lot of your time, and you will know that even wearing wigs, you can have on all the wigs and stuff that you want to. That does not equal that this black man is going to be about that life. Does not equal that at all. Now, I will say that there are women that are, as you put in here, conscious and becoming conscious, and they may have damaged their hair and they having to wear those wigs. But I think it would be more sincere for women to be honest about that, as opposed to acting like they like it. They love it, and they get real defensive if somebody's speaking out against it. Because you got to imagine, had you heard black men shaming these wigs and these chemical processes that we put our kids' hair through, had you heard that young and been like, well, shit, fuck this, you could have possibly saved your hair. You getting it late. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of the times, these messages, and even with the would-be shaming, I don't think black men should be necessarily shaming black women, but you got to tell the truth. It is a bunch of bullshit. But had we got those messages earlier in life, our women had gotten those messages early in life, a lot of edges would be saved right now. And I'm glad that you put in here sew-ins and braids as well. A lot of people think that that they safe. They go get some braids and tight-ass braids, pulling the shit out of their edges. They think that is okay. And it's cool because they'll say, well, that's just African shit. Pulling your edges out of your head is not African shit. Just not. Because a lot of times these braids, that's nothing but you getting weave sewn into your hair anyway, but you're pulling the shit out of your edges. So I'm glad you added that in there. A lot of black women won't even conceive that as a reality. I mention these things and they'll tell me I'm crazy. So I'm glad you put that in there too. So make sure, and I wanted to make sure that black women are aware that, and y'all should know by now, that these braids and stuff can pull your shit right on out too. But I do question all the time, who do you want to attract? If you're wanting to attract black men who are in love with weave, then you're trying to attract the wrong men. You should be wanting to attract men that see your confidence and see your beauty regardless of what's going on. If you having short or bald head, doesn't matter. To me, y'all know I'm on this natural. I like that. I'm preaching this. This is what I'm passing down to my daughters as a man who loves natural. I love them the way that they are. I love their hair the way it grows out of their head. And as a society, we failed our women. As men, we failed our women with being encouraging and encouraging our women not to take this route of wearing weave constantly just to attract some random ass, coon ass, I'm sure, black men. Because real black men gonna love you for who you are. And that's just all it is to it. Naturally, they're going to love you for that, because they themselves, for them to look at you and not love you because you don't have weave in, that means they don't love themselves at all. But I really appreciate the message, and what you're doing for your daughter, I think is amazing. I don't know, I didn't get clear here what type of wigs that you are wearing. I do hope that you incorporate natural black woman kinky hair. I do hope that you are incorporating those types of wigs into your repertoire, because women talk about switching it up, but they're never switching it up to natural, the way a black woman's hair naturally looks, even when they're wearing wigs and weave. It's a combination of switching up of, short, long, all straight hair. And that is a problem, even when you mention wanting to switch it up. But I do really appreciate the fact that in hindsight, you've learned and you're passing and you're trying to break the cycle for your daughter. A lot of women should be doing that. We need to be breaking this cycle. Even if your hair is damaged, break the cycle for your child. That's what we're out here trying to do. A lot of us, we've made mistakes that we can't really come back from. Break the cycle for our kids, though. That's what we should be on. And I really appreciate the fact that you're on that. And I know that black men may give you a hard time and you feel like you don't have to fucking explain yourself. And you don't. You don't have to explain yourself. But I really appreciate the honesty that you have with yourself, that you know that you don't feel as confident. You don't feel confident if you walk around out here with a bald head or a low hair. You don't feel like black men will show you that type of love. But you shouldn't want that love anyway, because they're falling in love and being attracted to something that you don't even really look like. So I hope this helped in some type of way. I hope I was able to, give you life and help other women who may be going through this as well. Because again, I understand there's a lot of self-hate going on, but there's also a lack of confidence going on. A lot of women have damaged their hair for many, many years, and the process of getting your head or hair, your scalp, which is really what it's really based on, is based on the health of your scalp. But getting your scalp back healthy, it takes, sometimes it can take a lot of time. What you'll have a lot of times is women that will damage their hair for 15, 20 years, and they expecting to be able to jump and bounce back in 2, 3 weeks, and it just doesn't work like that. You have to look at how much damage you've done, and if it can be healed, then it's going to take some time. It's going to take time, and you might not want to take that time, but it's going to take some time, so you have to be patient with it. All right, and y'all already know what it is. Shout out Team Natural, all our natural women out here that are breaking free from the mentality that these white Eurocentric beauty standards with this long straight ass weave and wigs and whatever is being worn. A shout out to women that's breaking free from that, regardless of the fact that it was and is hard. But you have to understand that your confidence is what's the most attractive. It's that confidence. It's how you look, regardless of how your hair is. It's the type of confidence that you have. That's what it is. Most definitely, it's the type of confidence that you have. And y'all need to leave these black men that like weave and want you to wear weave. I get this a lot. Look, leave them. You don't need them. They make the type of people eyes you even want to get. Because they're going to be full of some bullshit anyway, especially if you're calling yourself being on some conscious shit. Because ain't no conscious black man loving no weave. Period. Period. He not loving that. He loving you as a black woman. And you in your natural state the way you are. Short hair, bald head, doesn't matter. That's what a truly conscious black man is looking for. And if you're a truly conscious black woman, then that's who you want to attract. So fuck all the riffraff and fuck all these other dudes. And teach your daughter the same thing. I'm not saying that you're not, but make sure we're doing that. We got to change the generation, because that's what we're having to do. We need to be breaking these cycles and changing. I really appreciate your message, and I appreciate you not being on here, being extra, being angry at the videos I've made about wigs and weave and relaxers and stuff like that. I really appreciate that. And you are willing to break the cycle, and I really appreciate that about you too. And more women should be doing it, even if you are wearing it. Your daughter, don't put her through the same hell. Don't put her scalp through the same hell that you may have been put through. So, again, I hope this helped in some type of way. Y'all already know what it is. We're a family over here. You know what I'm saying? If anybody has any further commentary to add to this, leave your comments in the comment section. Mad love, y'all. Shout out Team Rob. Y'all already know what it is. I love my people for real, and I want us to do better and be better. And the first part of that is accepting what's going on. Accepting what's going on and breaking these cycles for our children. That's what we're supposed to do as parents and as black people. All right? Mad love, y'all. I'll see y'all again for the next one. It's your motherfucking mans in there. I'm out.